In the dead of night, a solitary car pulls up to an old, seemingly abandoned house. Amid the ominous silence, the only sound is the car engine humming its low, weary tune. Out steps our protagonist, a man named David. David, a figure as ordinary as they come, has recently become the unlikely inheritor of this eerie, antiquated dwelling. This house, however, is not your ordinary inheritance. It's a relic from a bygone era, an architectural fossil shrouded in an aura of unease. Its wooden bones creak with untold stories. Its shadowy corners whisper tales of a dark past. David, unsuspecting, steps into the mouth of this sleeping beast, oblivious of the secrets it holds. His only inheritance, this house, was from a distant relative, a mere name without a face, an enigma wrapped in mystery. David is about to discover that some inheritances come with a heavy price. Little did David know, his life was about to take a spine-chilling turn. The morning sun peeked through the broken windows, revealing secrets lurking in the shadows. As the light danced across the room, David's eyes fell upon the faded memories adorning the walls. Family portraits, their faces obscured by time and neglect, stared back at him. Each frame held a story, a moment frozen in time, a whisper from the past. David moved through the house like a silent specter, his footsteps echoing in the eerie silence, a sharp contrast to the life that once filled these halls. His fingers traced the contours of yellowed letters, their cryptic messages hinting at a history steeped in mystery and darkness. The once vibrant ink now faded, the words whispered tales of love, loss, and a darkness that seemed to seep through the very parchment. The house, a relic of a bygone era, began to reveal its secrets. Old toys lay abandoned, dust-covered trinkets of happier times. A forgotten journal, its pages brittle with age, held entries filled with joy, despair, and an ominous undercurrent that made David's heart pound in his chest. The house seemed to breathe around him, its every creak and groan a testament to the years it had stood, watching the world change around it. And as David ventured deeper into its belly, he stumbled upon a hidden door, half concealed behind a decaying bookshelf. With a deep breath, David pushed the door open, revealing a narrow staircase leading down into the abyss. A basement, untouched and unexplored, lay in wait. The air grew colder, the darkness deeper as he descended into the bowels of the house. Each step echoed in the silence, a chilling reminder of the isolation that surrounded him. This house held a past, buried beneath layers of dust and time. A past that was slowly coming to life under David's curious gaze. As he ventured deeper, the house seemed to whisper its tales of yore, each one more sinister than the last. And as he descended into this realm of forgotten memories and hidden secrets, an icy shiver ran down his spine. A sudden chill filled the air as David stepped into the basement, the smell of damp earth and something else, something unnatural. As he moved deeper into the dank, dimly lit space, David's eyes fell upon strange symbols etched into the basement walls, their meaning hidden in the shadows of forgotten times. They were old, older than the house itself, and held an eerie allure that drew him in. In the corner, partially buried under years of accumulated dust, lay an old, worn-out diary. Its leather-bound cover was cracked and its pages yellowed with age. As he leafed through it, David found entries that sent a shiver down his spine. They spoke of rituals, of dark forces, of a presence that still lingered. The words seemed to leap off the pages, their terror resonating within him. The atmosphere in the basement began to shift. It was as if the air itself was holding its breath, waiting for something. Objects started to move on their own, a slow sway at first, then a violent shake. The rusted chains hanging from the ceiling clinked and rattled, creating a macabre symphony in the silence of the basement. Then came the whispers. Soft, incoherent, they seemed to float from the dark corners of the room, growing louder with each passing moment. They filled the air, a cacophony of hushed tones that echoed off the stone walls, wrapping David in a blanket of dread. Suddenly, a chilling apparition materialized before him. A figure, shrouded in darkness, its form shifting and wavering like smoke. Its eyes, glowing with an otherworldly light, bore into David, a silent challenge issued from beyond the veil. David's heart pounded in his chest, his breath hitched in his throat. He was no longer a mere visitor in this basement. He was an intruder, a trespasser in a realm that belonged to something else, something that had been waiting, biding its time, and now it had made its presence known. Fear gripped David as he realized he was not alone. Haunted by unsettling occurrences, David delved deeper into the diary, uncovering a tale of twisted rituals and dark forces. Discovering a chilling history full of curses and rituals, David realized his relative's death was not accidental. The strange occurrences and whispers were part of a curse. Now, it was up to David. David was now the unwilling inheritor of a centuries-old curse. The darkness grew stronger, feeding off David's fear and desperation, but he was determined to break free. In the heart of the unseen terror, David steeled himself against the engulfing fear. His heart pounded, a drumbeat of defiance in the chilling silence. The house, once a haven, now a ghastly prison, echoed with the sinister whispers of the past. But David was resolute. Armed with knowledge gleaned from the worn pages of the ancient diary, he prepared to face the malevolent force that tormented him. As he ventured deeper into the house, the air grew thick with tension. Each room held shadows that danced in the corners of his eyes, taunting him, daring him to step forward. But David pressed on, his courage fueled by the desperate need to reclaim his life from the clutches of this supernatural foe. In the heart of the house, where the air was coldest and the shadows deepest, David began the ritual. His voice, clear and steady, cut through the oppressive silence. The words from the diary, strange yet familiar, flowed from his lips like a sacred chant. Each syllable a weapon, each sentence a shield. David wielded the power of the ancient words against the darkness. The house seemed to react, the walls groaning under an unseen weight. Shadows writhed, distorted by the force of the ritual. The intensity of the struggle amplified, a tangible tug-of-war between man and malevolence. David's voice wavered, but he held strong, his determination unwavering. The darkness retaliated, its fury manifesting in a violent tempest that raged within the confines of the house. Objects flew, windows shattered, the very foundations of the house trembled. But David was undeterred. He chanted louder, his voice rising above the cacophony, his spirit unbroken. As he chanted the final words of the ritual, the house shook violently, and then silence. The fight for survival was over, but the echoes of the battle lingered, a chilling testament to David's courage and the darkness that once dwelled within. David woke up to the sound of birds chirping, a stark contrast to the eerie silence of the past few days. The sun was rising, casting a warm golden glow over the once foreboding house. His heart was lighter. The oppressive weight of fear seemed to have lifted. The house was quiet but not silent, filled with the ordinary sounds of life. An unspoken hope began to blossom within him. Perhaps the haunting was over. Yet, in the midst of this newfound calm, there were subtle signs that something was amiss. The mirror in the hallway still reflected a shadow that wasn't his. The antique clock in the living room, broken for years, began to tick again. The air, while lighter, still held a certain chill. As David looked back at the house, he couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. Was the curse really broken, or had he merely awakened something more sinister?